Good morning. Welcome to Circle Time Preschool. Sue, come out. Our friends are here and it's time to say hello. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. How are you? I'm fine. I'm fine. Hope you are too. I'm fine. I'm fine. You are too. Well, Sue, do you like donuts? I like donuts too. Do you like donuts? Well, today we're going to talk about letter D is for donuts. Sue, you can sit down right now though because we have to do our job first. We have to feed Fred. Fred, our pet fish. Hi, Fred. Good morning. Here's some fish food for you. Hi, Fred. Well, now that we have fed Fred, let's turn around and do our calendar time. The month is January. Can you say January? Let's reach into our can and see how we will count. Okay, can you do like this from one side to the other side as we count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Today is January 5th. Can you say that? January 5th. And if you go up to the top, you can see that the day of the week starts with a T and an H. TH together makes the sound the. So what day starts with that sound? The. Thursday. Today is Thursday. Days of the week. 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 There's Sunday and there's Monday. There's Tuesday and there's Wednesday. There's Thursday and there's Friday. And then there's Saturday. Days of the week. 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 Well, it is time to check the weather. So look outside your window and see what the weather is like for you today. Are you having a sunny day or a cloudy day, rainy or windy day? Maybe it's a snowy day for you. When I do like this with my microphone, shout out your weather. What's the weather? What's the weather? What's the weather like today? What's the weather? What's the weather? What's the weather like today? It is out today. It is out today. Let's dress Weather Bear. Weather Bear, we're going to put on some pants for you and a shirt with long sleeves. And let's put Weather Bear on his coat and his hat. What's the season right now? Do you remember? The season is winter. Well, that was our calendar and weather time, and now it's time for letter of the day. Today's letter is D. Can you say D? If your name has letter D, stand up. If your name has letter D, stand up. If your name has letter D, if your name has letter D, stand up. Well, today D is for donuts. So the way that I decorated my D was I colored it brown, and then I put sprinkles to make it look like a donut. I used my hole punch like this to punch out some holes from colorful paper, and that's what I used for my sprinkles. But you could also use sequins or glitter, or you could use your marker and just dot, 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 some sprinkles on your letter D. So what letter is this? It's letter D. And now that we can recognize it, we'll practice writing it. So to make a letter D, you're gonna need one big bubble. So let me blow one big bubble for us. That was one big bubble, wasn't it? Well, that's what we're gonna need to make the letter D. We're gonna make a number 1. And then we're gonna blow a big bubble like that. The bubble's gonna go from the top all the way to the bottom of the line. Can you try to make a big letter D? One big bubble. Let me show you. So we're gonna make a 1, and then we're gonna make a big bubble. 1 big bubble. 1 big bubble. 1 big bubble. That's how you make the big uppercase letter D. Now let's make a little d. Little like this. 1, but only a little bubble. And the little bubble goes this way to the left. 1 little bubble. Let's practice making a little letter D. Make a 1 and then a little bubble this way to the left. 1 little bubble. 1 little bubble. 1 little bubble. That's the little letter D. Do you want to show me your letters? I'll cheer for you. You're doing a great job on your handwriting. I'm going to give you a sticker. Good job. Well, now we know what letter D looks like. We know how to write letter D. So it's time to talk about the sound that letter D makes. Letter D makes the sound D, D. Can you make that sound? D. Good job. D, D, D. It kind of sounds like we're knocking on the door. D, D, D. So let's play a game to practice that sound. I'm going to knock on your door and you have to say, come in, and then you can knock on my door, okay? What does letter D say? D, D. You say, come in. And now you knock on my door. What does letter D say? D, 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 D. Come in. Now I'm going to knock on your door again. What does D say? D, D. Come in. Come in. Now you knock on my door. What does D say? D, D, D. Come in. Very good job. Well, now it's time for us to make a donut for art. So let's head over to the art table. So here we are at the art table and we're going to make a donut using 2 paper plates. So I just took 2 plates and I cut a hole in the middle. You'll probably need a grown-up to do that part. And then I taped the 2 paper plates together. And now I'm going to decorate my donut. The first thing I'm going to do is color the paper plate brown, like a golden donut, golden delicious brown donut. Once I get my donut colored brown, I can leave it like that if I want a plain donut. But if I want a donut that's frosted, I can use some paint and I can put some frosting on there like a strawberry donut, or maybe brown for a chocolate covered donut. Okay, next I'm going to add some sprinkles. So you can put some glue on there if you want to, or it might stick if your paint is still wet. You can use real sprinkles. You could use glitter, or you could punch out some more sprinkles just like we did for when we decorated our letter D. And I'll show you how to do that. So I'm just taking some colorful paper and just using my hole punch, and I'm just punching some circles and just letting it fall on my donut. See, you can see that the sprinkles are falling all over my donut. So that's how we're going to decorate our letter D donut today for art. Well, now it's time for science. So we'll come back around and do a fun science activity. I think our donut turned out pretty cool, and it's a fluffy donut because we put the paper plate on the top and on the bottom. You can decorate both sides if you want to, or just one side. Well, why is it that donuts are so nice and fluffy? We're going to discover that today during our science activity. It's because when they make donuts, they use something called yeast. This is yeast. Let me let you see what it looks like. Now, this is the stuff that they use when they're making donuts or even when they're making bread. So let's do a little science experiment to see how that yeast helps the donut or bread to be nice and fluffy. So in this first jar, I added some warm water and 1 teaspoon of yeast. And in the second jar, I added warm water and 1 teaspoon of yeast and 1 teaspoon of sugar. Donuts are nice and sweet and sugary. And did you know that yeast eats sugar? It's true. Let's take a look inside the jar that didn't have any sugar. I don't really see many bubbles in that one, but take a look inside the jar that had the sugar. I can even see from the outside of the jar, there are lots of bubbles here. Let me let you see inside. Look at those bubbles inside that jar. So when yeast eats the sugar, it blows bubbles, carbon dioxide bubbles. Carbon dioxide is the same thing that we breathe out. Everybody breathe out. You just breathe out carbon dioxide bubbles. Breathe in, that's oxygen, and out, that's carbon dioxide. And that's the same kind of bubbles that the yeast blows when it's eating that sugar. Well, the more bubbles, the better. The yeast without the sugar is still going to blow bubbles, but the yeast with the sugar certainly blew more bubbles. And I think that's why our donuts are super duper fluffy. Now this is bread. I'm going to let you see inside the bread. Now the bread, remember, is not very sweet. It's just a piece of bread. And so it does have some bubbles in the one without sugar, but not too many. But you can see when I open this up, where the bubbles have popped. See all the little holes? That's where all those bubbles made by the yeast popped. You can look at your bread today and see if you want to. If you see some little holes, those were actually bubbles that popped. The yeast made the bubbles, and then the bubbles popped and made the bread nice and fluffy, and definitely made the donut nice and fluffy. Donuts are really good and fluffy. Well, it's time for us to read a story for story time. If You Give a Dog a Donut by Laura Numeroff, illustrated by Felicia Bond. If you give a dog a donut. If you give a dog a donut, he'll probably want some apple juice to go with it. When you give him the juice, he'll drink it all up. Then he'll ask for more. He'll go outside to pick apples. When he's up in the tree, he'll toss you one. Throwing the apple will make him think of baseball. He'll want to play. You'll have to go and get your ball and your glove. Of course, he'll need a bat as well. He'll ask you to pitch. He'll hit a home run. Then he'll do a happy dance to celebrate. Dancing will make him hot and dusty, so he'll need some water. He'll probably start a water fight. He'll need something to dry off afterwards. He'll wrap the bandana you bring him to dry off around his head and pretend he's a pirate. Then he'll want to go on a treasure hunt. He'll find an old kite and want to make one himself. You'll have to get him some sticks and paper and string. When the kite is finished, he'll want to fly it. It will go higher and higher. Until it gets tangled up in the apple tree. The tree will remind him of apple juice, so he'll probably ask you for some. And chances are if he asks for some apple juice, he's going to want, what do you think? A donut to go with it. Very, very good. Well, I hope you had fun today. Sue, come out. We need to tell our friends goodbye. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. It's time to say goodbye. Give a little wave. Give a little wave. Give a little wave. It's time to say goodbye. Blow a kiss. Blow a kiss. Blow a kiss. It's time to say goodbye. Goodbye. We'll see you tomorrow.